Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I am so excited today to come to you with my August TBR. I almost forgot what month we were in here. I have a couple carryovers from July, and then I have a couple others before we get to my spinner wheels. But I have not been reading at all. It is still the last week of July right now, and I haven't read a single thing on audio, print, or Kindle in days. I don't know what's going on. So I had high hopes of finishing my 2 more Read Like Chantel books that I still need to read. I had high hopes of reading a buddy read Room, which was my spinner wheel for the 12 books I need to read this year, or I would like to read this year. And I also just had other books on my July TBR that I was hoping to get to, and I didn't get to any of them at the end of the month. I read a bunch at the beginning, read a bunch for Catch-Up-a-thon, and then I guess this past week, I just needed a break. So yikes. Hopefully that changes. I'm not sure how much it's going to change next week because I am preparing to go to Nicaragua on a missions trip with my church. I'm not going to get very much reading done on that trip. A little bit in travel times and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. This pile's already going to get big. But let me do the books that I'm going to carry over from July first. The book that I spun the wheel for, 12 books I want to read in 2023, was Room by Emma Donoghue. I was supposed to buddy read this with Erin Go Live, and she's finished it. I didn't even hardly start it. I meant to do it the first week of the month, forgot to bring it to my mom's with me in July. And then it was catch up. I just didn't get to it, but I do still want to try to read this because it's on that list. So Room is going in the basket. Oh, by the way, I got myself a new basket at a thrift store, and I love it. And it's perfect for putting my TBR books for the month. So I'm excited to have that. I also have a buddy read going with Amy of Stellar Loon. This is the 9th Keeper of the Lost Cities book. We made it to about chapter 15, which is almost a third, I think, of the book. And we're really enjoying it, but then Catch-Up-a-thon happened and we just didn't read this very much at all in the middle of July. So we're going to pick this back up and hopefully finish it in August. And then, of course, so many of you are excited. I really want to read At Home in Mitford this summer by Jan Karon. Listen, I know I'm going to hear it in the comments that I didn't get to it yet, but it's staying in the basket. It's staying on my TBR. August might be the time. We'll see, but I will vlog it when it happens. So this is the first in a series that comes highly, highly, highly recommended by so many of you. I feel like it's going to be a gentle kind of character driven, but you just love the characters. Small town. Just feel like it sounds really cozy, but there's still something that's intimidating to me about it. We shall see. But At Home in Mitford, going in the basket. Then we have my Patreon book club book for the month of August, and that's going to be A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. I'm really excited to read this one. Amy Harmon has had some huge, huge hits for me, and also a couple that were a little bit of a bummer. But I'm very excited about this one. In this one, we follow a young girl named Deborah Sampson. And we follow her right from when she's little, and her family is poor, and she gets indentured out to work to help her family survive. It takes place in like 1700s America, Puritan parents, Massachusetts. And then the Revolutionary War stuff starts happening, and Deborah wants to do her part. So she dresses up like a boy, pretends to be a man, and goes to fight as a soldier in the Revolutionary War. I believe there's going to be a bit of a romance in here as well. I cannot wait to read this one. And I'm very hopeful that it will be another hit for me from Amy Harmon. We shall see. The Middle Grade March book club book for August is Maisie Chen's Last Chance by Lisa Yee. Look at how many words are on there. I'm so excited. I really don't know much about this. I know a handful of people read it during Middle Grade March and really loved it. The cover reminds me so much of Front Desk, which had this kind of animated, sweet, fun-looking cover, but really dealt with some heavy-hitting issues, and I'm wondering if this will be the same. But I think this is going to be set kind of around a restaurant rather than a hotel. Like Front Desk was centered around a hotel. Different author, different book, but the connection is because of the cover in my mind. Maisie goes to Minnesota to visit her grandparents. Secrets, questions, can she find the answers? Should be a really good one. I'm looking forward to reading that with those who are reading along with the Middle Grade March book club. And then I just have it on my mind. This might be a reach, but I'm going to start this as a slow but steady because It's a big one. But I want to start Words of Radiance, which is book 2 in the Stormlight Archive. I really loved Way of Kings. It's my favorite book of the year so far, still. And I just want to not wait too long before carrying on with the series. So I may find this on audio to listen while I'm gone on my trip. I may just read a little bit here and there, just kind of chip away at it. It might take me a couple months and I'm okay with that. I just want the characters to be fresh in my mind when I start the second book. Since I just finished Way of Kings a couple months ago, I feel like now is a good time to get started with Words of Radiance. So this might be on a couple TBRs, but I'm excited to get started with it anyway. So that basket is pretty full already, and yet we still have 2 spinners to spin. So I have 2 I have 2 patron picks this month because I'm crazy. So I picked the Chelsea Girls by Fiona Davis, which I think is the only Fiona Davis I don't actually own yet. Pango, I'm coming for you. Fiona Davis writes historical fiction set in New York City, often around an iconic building in New York City. Destiny picked this one for me and really loved it recently, so I'm excited to read another Fiona Davis. And then Shannon picked for me The Last Lifeboat by Hazel Gaynor, and this was on my anticipated reads list for the year, and I believe I have it on NetGalley. I'm going to double check because I am bringing my Kindle with me on my trip, and so maybe The Last Lifeboat will be something that I can read kind of in the evenings at the end of the day, wind down time on my missions trip. So that I'll put the Kindle right in the basket. So I do have those 2 books as well. Okay, now on to the spinner wheels. So first up, we're going to do which book I'm going to read out of my stack of 12 that I wanted to read this year that have been on my TBR for a really long time. I obviously have Room still in the basket, but we are going to choose another one. And on this recording, it looks like there are a lot of books. There are only 5 left. I've been doing so good. Until July, I was doing so good with reading one every month. There's 5 left. I just put them in 3 times to make it a little more exciting when the wheel's spinning, so it's not 5 big chunks of the wheel. Let's go ahead and see which one I'm going to read in August. Maybe. I'm going to try. Oh, it's a big one. A figures, the chunkiest one on the pile. Hold on. The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. But it also is kind of fitting because I believe the family goes on a missions trip in this book. The wife and 4 daughters of Nathan Price, a fierce evangelical Baptist who takes his family and mission to the Belgian Congo in 1959. So it might be kind of interesting to read about this missions trip in the 1950s as opposed to how we do missions today. I have a feeling it will be very different. This is a well-loved book. It's one that's been on my shelves for a long time. I'm not planning on bringing a book with me on my trip, but maybe I can find this on audio and just wait for Words of Radiance and read this on audio first. It is older. It should be pretty easy to find on audio. We'll see. And then, of course, the most fun of all of my TBRs this year has been choosing a new BookTube friend to read like for the month. I am a little behind in this one project as well. I still have 2 books to read like Chantel, which was my choice for July. I did read one right at the very beginning of the month and I'm in the middle of one. So I'm making a little bit of progress. I'll just have to carry it over into August and catch up at some point. We'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who the choice will be for August. So exciting. Oh, spin. Here we go. Lindsay. Fun. Okay, let me think about that. I'm excited. Okay, Lindsay. I do have one book on my shelf that I knew I wanted to read whenever I got Lindsay's name, but I only have one. So I'm going to have to chat with Lindsay and see if we can come up with some ideas for what I should read like her this month. Okay, great. That's exciting. I think it will add a good variety into the books I already have as well. So let's see. I have some chunks. Oh my word. Looking at this stack, it does seem slightly ambitious. And by slightly, I mean very, because we have all of these. Words of Radiance, Slow But Steady, Poisonwood Bible, and Room from my 12 books that I need to read this year. Patreon book club book, Girl Called Samson, middle grade March book club book, Maisie Chen's Last Chance, a buddy read, At Home in Mitford, as promised, Last Lifeboat on my Kindle and Chelsea Girls, and then 2 or 3. Usually I do 3 books like Lindsay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very possible. I do tend to read about 12 books a month. And I do not plan on finishing this in August. So it is very possible. We shall see. That's going to be it for me today. Oh my goodness. Wish me luck in the comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you think of them. What are you most excited to read in the month of August? And will you be joining in for either my Patreon book club or the Middle Grade March book club? And yeah, let's just chat books in the comments below. I always love talking with you down there. Thank you so much for your support and watching and commenting and liking and all the things. I really appreciate you being here and a part of this community. And I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.